Emerald Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Star Trek Picard Season 2, Episode 1, and my thoughts on this episode. I'm going to start off with talking about certain things, like the fact that this is a show that's only 3 seasons long, because that's what CBS has decided, and the fact that Patrick Stewart is unfortunately getting too old to act. In my opinion, especially in this episode, it kind of shows, yeah, Patrick Stewart needs to retire. He's not as young as he used to be, and you've got to accept that at this point. I didn't think the episode was that bad. There are problems with certain characters who get away with murder. I think we all know which one we're talking about. Also, the fact they haven't really explained the whole deal with Patrick Stewart. Picard being a robot now. That was not explained in this episode. 7 and 9 being all over the place as a character. I mean, I didn't think 7 and 9 was bad in this episode. It's just she doesn't act like 7 and 9 from Voyager. But there were pluses. I enjoyed the story so far. This episode was not that bad. That is surprising. I've just come off of Discovery. So, yes, this is 10 times better than Discovery, but compared to better Star Trek shows, real Star Trek shows, yeah, it's nowhere near good. But it is Kurtzman Trek, so we might as well be happy with what we get. The first season of Picard was terrible, because it mainly just dealt with Picard apologising for everything, the Federation being made to look like twats, and just a hell of a lot of problems in the first season. Maybe in the second season we're going to see a lot more improvement, but unfortunately I doubt it. I really do doubt it, especially when you see at the end with the whole trailer for the season and where they're going to be concentrating most of this show on. Kind of seems like we're just going to get a Trump bashing series with this show. Not say I like Trump, but making your show just about him, come on now. The episode didn't feel slow. It didn't feel full of pointless stories like Discovery. The fact we just concentrated on one story. We concentrated on one character. This show seems like it's been more focused on. It seems like they have more of a goal in mind. It seems like they're not trying to explain too much and concentrate on too many characters. They seem to just want to concentrate on Picard, which is a smart thing for this show to do, which I can give them a point for. Having focus in a show makes the show seem a lot more interesting and seems like more watchable. But we are seeing SJW crap in this. We are seeing people getting away with... Again, I'm going to keep bringing up one character's murderous bullshit that she can get away with, that no man can get away with. Again, if you've watched my season Picard 1 reviews, you'll understand who I'm pissed off at. Because I'm really pissed off that she's getting away with shit. But the episode wasn't bad. I actually did enjoy parts of it. I could actually see this show being a success if they had concentrated on what I thought they were concentrating on. But I think I'm going to go now into spoilers because can't keep dancing around it. I'm going to give this show a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's that bad. I kind of think you can watch it and enjoy it, and I kind of think there are Star Trek elements in it, which I'll give them credit for. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the episode, well, the part of the episode I didn't like was the fact that Agnes gets away with murder. Now, from the last season of Picard, I said this bitch would get away with murder, or they'll at least have to explain how she's going to get away with it. And it turns out they're saying that she got away with murder because she was crazy. You fucking kidding me? You still go to prison if you kill somebody when you're crazy. You don't just get let off because you're crazy. So they let her get away with murder. I mean, they had to explain that shit because it was so fucking blatant that they were letting her get away with murder. So they've just decided she's allowed to get away with murder because she's crazy. Well, no, it's because she's a woman. She killed a white man. That was literally it. I mean, what the fuck? And the other problem with this show is Picard is a robot now. Again, they had a chance to make Picard a robot and they just made him a fucking 90-year-old man. Which makes no sense. He's... Oh my god, it's... The stupidity of this show... Well, the parts that are stupid are annoying. Because there are parts that are good. And I will admit that. There's parts of this episode I liked. So let's get into it then. So the episode starts off with Picard in his wine field, you know, listening to music. Again, this didn't feel like a Star Trek show at the beginning because we're playing some bullshit music. And he's walking to see his Romulan girlfriend. Oh, sorry, not girlfriend. Just friend at this point. And they have a little talk with each other where they talk about the other Romulan guy that was at Picard's place. Apparently he's died somehow. We don't really find out how he died. But the Romulan woman is like, she moves on with her life. And that's how you know, pay tribute to your dead husband by finding another person to fall in love with and treating that relationship better than you did with the other person. And I was just like, okay, that's kind of weird, but if it's Romulan culture, fair enough, who cares? We then get this scene between them both where Picard goes in for a kiss but then stops himself because he feels bad for the other Romulan guy who died, and then it's just got this awkward scene between them. Then we see Picard getting ready to go to Starfleet Academy, and they have another little talk with each other. But then he starts to go to this part of the house where it's kind of destroyed. And he remembers this is a place where him and his mother had a conversation because apparently Picard comes from a broken home. Which is insane to me. I mean, they don't outright say that his father hit his mother. But they are leaning towards it in this episode. I mean, Jesus Christ, they go that far to say Picard's father slapped around his mother and his mother and father have arguments. I mean, we have seen Picard with his family before. Him and his brother talked about their father and he never brought up the fact his father hit his mother. I mean, how insane is that? I mean, they're trying to pretty much push that Picard's mother is the one who pushed him to leave the home. And yes, Picard's father wanted to stay on Earth and become a wine person. I get that. But there was never any fucking push to say that Picard's father was an abuser. I mean, it kind of just seemed like Picard was more just sorry that he disappointed his father and not staying in the farm. And his brother had to stay on the farm because he wanted to respect his father's wishes. So we never got that kind of angle on Picard's father. But in this show, they're saying Picard's father was an abuser. I mean, that's just bullshit right there. I mean, anyway, so we get this vision of his mother telling him to look up to the stars. And then Picard looks up to the stars, and we then have the scene going through a galaxy, and then we see this rift through space, where a Federation ship gets pushed away by it. The next scene is 7 and 9 getting attacked by some pirates. She manages to kill the pirates with the help of a hologram, who is what's his name again? It's a Rios hologram programs. One of the programs. He doesn't speak English, he speaks Spanish, which is weird since everybody has a universal translator, so why is he talking Spanish when it would come to 7 or 9 in English? She's also Borg, she has that technology inside her. Anyway, I mean, again, you gotta put Spanish in there because diversity. Fuck's sake. Anyway, so 7-9 beats the pirates with the help of the Rios holograms. They then find themselves near the anomaly. The next scene is Picard at Starfleet talking to the cadets and telling them about, what they need to be, great and fantastic, and what the Federation's about and shit. And we then get the first mention of the first Romulan recruit in Starfleet. And it's Lego Boy. Now, I don't know the character's name. I called him Lego Boy because in the first season, he was literally just a copy of Legolas from Lord of the Rings. That was the entire character. He had a sword, had the big ears, he even looked like fucking Legolas, for fuck's sake. So apparently he's now the first Romulan to join Starfleet, and we all got to pray and cheers and all that shit about him being the first one. We don't find out anything about the Romulans, by the way, because they have been so fucked up. I mean, again, the Kurtzman has fucked up 2 of the biggest fucking races in the fucking Star Trek universe. The fucking Klingons and the Romulans. They have fucked up. He's fucked up 2 of the biggest races in the fucking franchise. And he hasn't sorted them out. It's ridiculous, man. It really is. We don't hear nothing about how the galaxy is. We only hear about the Federation side. Oh, we also find out that robots are now legal in the Federation because it was racist to, get rid of them, even though they destroyed Mars and killed a bunch of innocent people. We're not gonna mention that again, Picard, are we? The fact they attacked Mars, destroyed a shitload of things, but apparently that's all gone now. They've all been allowed to come back. All the simps are allowed to do what they want now. Yay, freedom! Even though they killed people to do it. But okay, fair enough. Next scene is it's again, you could do this a lot better. Hold on. If you explained it a lot more, if you had actually had a dedicated episode about it, like how the hell did the Simps get, how the hell did Picard get to persuade Starfleet about making the Simps, legal again? There's a lot of people that would still be fearful of Simps after they attack Mars. I mean, come on. You can't just do it in a couple of sentences, you stupid prick. But that scene ends, and then we go to Soji, who's back, and she's now a representative of the Federation to this new species. They're making contact with a bunch of bald people. That's seriously what they were, just a bunch of bald people. Again, there are problems with this episode. Anyway, so Soji gives some sort of bloody speech to them. She explains that the Simps are now legal and that they're happy to work with Starfleet, and she wants to talk to them in their own language because that shows that they're understanding between the 2 races, and they want to show solidarity with them, and blah 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 blah. And then we go to Agnes, who's drunk, who gets then a guy starts flirting with her, and she's just too drunk to give a shit. She then gets a message from Starfleet that she needs to go back to the ship, and Soji helps her by trying to help her by making sure she's all right and saying that she sensed that she's feeling emotional and blah 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 blah. And that's pretty much how we dealt with that situation. It's pretty much Soji just wants to make sure she's feeling okay, and that's how she helps her. Fuck's sake. Again, does it have to always be emotion with these fucking people? Oh, Jesus Christ. So Agnes returns to the ship, and turns out that Rios is the captain of the Stargazer. Woo! Stargazer! Remember Stargazer? Remember Picard's first command? You remember that? Because they're going to make sure you remember it, because they won't stop fucking saying it in this episode. Yes, the Stargazer is now commanded by Rios, who has given his ship to 709, and he is now a captain in Starfleet. How Picard swung that, I have no idea. Oh, and he still smokes, because that is still a thing in Starfleet. I mean, that is still a thing in Kurtzman Trek. Drugs and smoking are still a thing now in Kurtzman Trek. Even though in real Star Trek, that shit's gone. There's no drugs, there's no smoking on Earth. And humans don't do it anymore because we evolved. Which was a big thing in Star Trek. Kind of a big thing Roddenberry wanted to kind of do with humanity. Say that we evolved and stopped being stupid humans and started being enlightened and smarter and not doing stupid little things. But Kurtzman doesn't understand that because he's a fucking moron. So he's just brought all that back for no fucking reason other than it's pretty much an SJW point of drugs are not bad, they're good for you, you should take them. Fuck off, okay? Just fuck off, okay? Real Star Trek, humans got beyond that shit and we were a better species for it. So Rios gets sent by the Federation to investigate the anomaly. When they get there, they start receiving a signal from the anomaly that is pretty much a signal to ask for Picard, to talk to Picard, and Rios sends the messages back to Starfleet. Picard then gets them, then has a meeting with an admiral who comes over to tell him about the anomaly and the fact the anomaly is calling for Picard. Picard then heads off to the Stargazer to talk to the anomaly. When he gets to the Stargazer, he meets up with Seven. Seven tells him about the anomaly and about the Stargazer, because apparently she now knows everything about the Stargazer, even though she's not in Starfleet. And the Stargazer is a Federation ship with Borg equipment, Borg technology. And kind of think that is a smart thing to do, but to send it somewhere where the Borg might be, kind of dangerous. But I like it. I do like the fact the Federation are taking Borg equipment and putting it on their ships, because Borg equipment is a hell of a lot better than Starfleet's equipment. So yes, I like that part. I also like the fact that 7 and 9 is at least showing that she's become a lot more hatred towards the Borg. Unfortunately, I kind of think I would have liked to have seen Picard push back against that a lot more and told her she got to stop hating the Borg, that we need to be more understanding with them and be a bit more Starfleet, as you are part of Starfleet, Picard. But anyway, Picard gets to the bridge. Everybody's like crazy about him being there. All the officers give him like a standing ovation, and he tells them all to sit down. He meets with Rios. Well, Rios gives him a handshake, and Agnes gives him a hug, and he's happy to see them. And they then start receiving more messages from the anomaly. Picard tells the anomaly that he's there, and then something comes through the anomaly. Turns out to be a Borg cube. Well, something of a Borg ship anyway. So it's the Borg coming through the anomaly, and they want to talk about joining the Federation. Which is very confusing, since the Borg were completely destroyed by Voyager, by Janeway. Yes, the Borg were destroyed. Well, not completely destroyed. There are parts of the Borg left, but Janeway did damage them very significantly. Which was, I respect the episode for remembering that. Which is kind of, again, it's a plus. It's a plus for me. They're at least acknowledging good parts of Star Trek and at least trying to put them in and making them make sense. 7 and 9 gets a bit annoyed. Well, she's very threatened by this and says we shouldn't trust them, which she's obviously right. It's obvious that the Borg are not going to join the Federation. They want to take over the Federation, but Picard wants to try to trust them because he wants to stop a war happening. At the same moment, you start seeing more and more Federation ships coming in. I actually did enjoy seeing more Federation ships, especially all the new classes that are out there. And the fact they didn't just do what they did in the last season of Picard, which was copy and paste every fucking ship to make them all look identical, which looked fucking stupid. I mean, it really did. So, props to the people in the CGI department that didn't just do that ridiculous shit again. I will give them props for that. The Borg then asked to transport onto the Stargazer, but Raffi denies them that because it's stupid to bring on a Borg drone onto your ship. Otherwise, because if you do that, then they're going to pretty much take over the ship. I mean, it's pretty obvious what they were planning to do here. But the Borg kind of forced the issue, forcefully beam onto the ship, and then when they get through the shields, it turns out they've sent a Borg Queen. Don't know how you could say it's the Borg Queen. It doesn't look like a Borg Queen, but they call her the Borg Queen, so I got to call her the Borg Queen. So the Borg Queen gets through the shields. She's on the deck. She asks about peace, but she says negotiation with power. Takes over, attacks the crew on the bridge, and then and then the crew start firing everything they have at the fucking Borg Queen, and then Raffi tells the crew to stop firing, and they just keep firing. Like, they're supposed to be Federation officers. They're supposed to do as they're told. And they just keep firing, and the Borg Queen just keeps sending the shots back to them and stunning them, not killing them, because 709 says that they're being stunned, not killed. But they keep firing anyway. I mean, it's fucking dumb. And then we just get more and more security officers coming on board, coming on the bridge, firing again and again, just getting them all killed again or stunned again. And then the Queen the Queen heads over to Picard. Oh no, sorry. Picard then orders a self-destruct of the Stargazer, which again, wrong. Picard can't order that. That has to be the captain of the ship to do that, not just an admiral for no reason. Okay? I get there's a reason why Picard wants to activate self-destruct, but he can't do that because he's not the fucking captain. It needs to be Rios who does that. But apparently he can do it because he orders a self-destruct of the ship. And when he does, the Queen heads over to him and then says something that his mother said, which was look up to the stars. So is the Borg Queen his mother? I mean, that is pretty messed up, if that is his mother. But anyway, the ship gets blown up. And then Picard wakes up on Earth in his house, very disorientated, and a synth comes round and asks if he needs help. He tells the synth to go away, and it turns out it was Q. Q is back. And Picard pretty much swears at him, and Q then tells him, did you really think the trial was over? And now we're about to go on the path that wasn't taken, and the episode ends. And it's pretty much showing that Picard is now in a fascistic Federation, because that was what the trailer was about. Yes, the Federation has turned into a fascist dictopia for some reason that happened back in 2024. And the episode ends. Again, there are good parts of this episode. I like 709, I like the Borg, I like the Stargazer. Problems, people getting away with murder, and again, a lot of SJW shit. It's a good episode, not the best, 10 times better than Star Trek Discovery, but we'll see next week if this is going to turn into an SJW's wet dream. And that's the end of my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And if you like my content, do think about subscribing. Hail to Fandom S, long live CG, and fuck SJWs. Bye.